The COVID-19 pandemic has affected all small businesses in the U.S. Virgin Islands, but there is help to move your business forward. The Virgin Islands Small Business Development Center is available to assist entrepreneurs and small businesses. The VISBDC is the territory's #1 resource for small businesses and is sustained by the University of the Virgin Islands and the U.S. Small Business Administration. The VISBDC is nationally accredited and provides one-on-one advising, business education training, and technical assistance at no cost. Attend workshops by experts from both the public and private sectors. From idea generation to exit strategies, the staff at the VISBDC are ready to assist you. So don't wait. Call, email, or visit them on the web at www.visbdc.org and Facebook, or simply download their mobile app on the Apple or Google Play Store. Just search VISBDC. Discover how they can help your business grow and succeed.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the VISBDC Working Wednesday webinar. The VISBDC is honoring our commitment to supporting active military, veterans, and their families start and operate a successful smart business. The presenter for today is VBOC Outreach Specialist Juan Marrero. Retired U.S. Army Sergeant First Class Juan Marrero joined the VBOC Region 2 team in April 2019 as Outreach Specialist to provide business training, counseling, and mentoring to veteran entrepreneurs in Puerto Rico and the USVI. Juan is bilingual in English and Spanish and brings a unique skill set and familiarity to the population he serves in the region as they start or grow their own small business. Juan was an active duty service member for 22 years. He has an extensive training background, skills as a highly qualified professional in the manufacturing industry, and experience providing ERP or enterprise resource planning services such as software tested, production support, training, and solutions implementation. Juan completed a technical degree in computer and network repair, AutoCAD, from the Universal Technology College of Puerto Rico and studied chemistry at Inter-American University of Puerto Rico. Just a friendly reminder to put your questions in the chat and they will be addressed by Juan either in the chat or later during the question and answer segment. A copy of the presentation is available upon email request to info@visbdc.org. So Juan, the floor is yours.
Hi, thank you very much, and good morning to everybody, especially our veterans over there in the Virgin Islands. I want to thank you for your service, and another opportunity that we have to grow as entrepreneurs. Thank you to the SBDC and Virgin Islands that always give us the opportunity to have this time, 1 hour, to talk about creating that foundation for our veterans to become entrepreneurs. I mean, nowadays is finishing. I'm not, getting back to the normal, the new normal, whatever you guys want to call it. But it's a lot of opportunities out there. We do have the Boost to Business course pretty much every month. We do sometime twice a month, and that will actually create the foundation for our veterans to start their business owning dreams. So one more time, thank you to the SBDC. Thank you for the veterans for your service. And let's start today with a new class. So when we actually started talking about veterans being business owners, we talk in the first webinar we had with the SBDC in Virgin Islands. We talk about the right skills and experience that the veterans have to actually bring it to the civilian side and be able to open a business with ease, make it easier. So a lot of things that we go through in the military that will prepare you to be a business owner, and there's something that we had to tweak a little bit because it's not the same, but it's some skills and experiences that you earn in the military that will give you that advantage over other people. So when we start creating, putting together our idea of business owners, The question is that idea, do you think is the right one? You know, is the right solution for a problem out there that somebody's gonna buy you product or somebody gonna buy you services? So that's what we're gonna be talking about today. Most of the time we talk to veterans, and including myself when I first started, and my idea about becoming a business owner is it was totally different of what really ended up, you know, the final product. Why? Because you go through to different levels of developing that idea. And some people say, Juan, but I already got my own business already running. So yeah, but the question is, you want to grow. So if you want to grow, what idea do you have of growing? You know, what you're going to implement new products, implement new services, and you're going to create accessories for your product. You know, so it's this right here, this course, this webinar we're going to be talking about today is for everyone. It's pretty much for the brand new entrepreneur and the one that's planning to actually grow. All right, so the right idea, the basic opportunity of recognition, and that's what we're going to be talking about today, about for you to recognize what's going on out there, for you to be able to implement ideas and actually come up with different ideas. Okay, so this is the objective, is to describe the process and activities related to understanding the business case for turning an idea into a sustainable business concept. Additionally, we're going to understand how to refine and refocus current ideas. And I really like what it says right here, to turning an idea into sustainable business concept. Okay, I've seen a lot of people that they're trying to take that idea into a structure right away. And yes, you know what? You can do it. But one time you start structuring your business, you're going to start going through a lot of trouble, a lot of showstoppers, right? Because all those showstoppers you should be you're supposed to be taking care when you're trying to initiate the concept. You take your idea, instead of going to structure, you start developing the concept of that idea, okay? And I'm going to get into it, you know, more in depth in a few slides. Here's the agenda. The entrepreneurial process, the finding opportunities, your value proposition that for me is so important in entrepreneurship, and from idea to concept. So we talk about what is entrepreneurship. Okay, for me, entrepreneurship is capacity plus ability. You have to have these two things right here, these two elements. Capacity is to perceive and act upon opportunities in the environment. So you perceive that something's going on. You perceive that something's not working right. You perceive that it's a need for your product. You're going to ease the pain of the people with your product. You're going to make something more convenient with your product. Okay, so that's capacity. All right. And then the ability is to create and build something from that practically nothing. So you found what the problem was, and you're going to create whatever is going to ease that pain, right? Whatever is going to ease that convenience. And there's multiple examples that we're going to be talking about actual organizations that came from nothing and they made it real big. And actually people that there was something already created, but they made it better. Okay, they made it better. So here's the process, the entrepreneurial process. Okay, you need to identify the opportunity. Before you come with a product, before you come with a service, something that you would like to provide, you need to identify the opportunity. Why is this product that I'm trying to invent or actually, you know, create is so important? You know, so right there, you need to find out in the society if there is need to identify if there is an opportunity for your product or service to success. All right. So one time you identify that opportunity that you for sure, I mean, you are for sure that it is an opportunity, develop the concept. And let me go back to identify the opportunity, because if you think that you are identifying an opportunity, well, you're wrong. Your idea, your concept, your structures is going to fail. Okay. Or it's going to be harder actually to make it real. So that's why in the identified opportunity, we're going to be talking about how for you to verify if there really an opportunity. Then you develop the concept. You take that idea and you put it in paper. You start creating something that we call the business plan. And the business plan, people they think the business plan is just for the banks or for the lenders, right? No, the business plan is for you as an entrepreneur to make management decisions, to change things in your concept, to change maybe your idea, okay, to make it better. All right. Also, next, we're going to determine the required resources. What do you need to start structuring that idea that became concept and now is going to become a structure and then it's going to become a business? So once you determine the required resources, then you need to acquire the necessary resources. Then you implement, you open your doors and you manage, and then you harvest the venture. So these 6 steps right here is one by one from the idea, okay, all the way to harvest the venture. So I said the value proposition is very important. For me, it's probably the most important element of entrepreneurship. So you identify the opportunity. And what is an opportunity? Opportunity equals problem plus solution. So in society, it's many problems. And I'm talking about not just social-wise, but technology, manufacture, professional services. There's so many things that can get better. And there's so many things that they're not there yet. And somebody's going to come up with an idea and actually implement it and make it a profit, make a profit from it. So what do you have that's going to give the society a value proposition? So that's what we need to think about when you find the opportunity. In other words, you find the solution for the problem. So what you're going to give to the society? Okay, what is it? Where do you find it? How do you know you got it right? So that's what I said, you need to verify. Every time in manufacture and even in professional services, when you come up with a service or a product, it's a testing period, okay? And the testing period is not just to see how the quality or how good the product is, but also the testing is about, is this product gonna take care of the problem? Is this product or this service that I'm providing is gonna be the solution for the problem? Is the answer is yes, every time you go through this testing, analysis, and different type of research, then you got the solution for that problem. In other words, you found the opportunity to be able to get into the market, okay? So solving problems, what am I talking about? I'm talking about, here's a little list of a few. Aging of the population. I mean, we're not getting any younger, okay? So we're getting older, and there's different ways to take care of our aging population. They got homes, and I'll tell you what, this is developing. This thing about taking care of our elders is developing for better things. Why? Because it's continued to be a problem. There are people that don't want to go to a home. There are people that think homes are boring. There are people that think their homes are the end. This is it. Okay, so there's a lot of developing here that needs to be done to make it better, to make it attractive. Right? There's communities out there that when you retire, you go live there and they take you places and you do new things. And so that's what I'm talking about. This is a continued working process with the aging of the population to make things better. Working parents, singles or dual income is something that we continue to develop and make it better. Concerns about security, man, that's an ending. It's not we cannot get better about security. It's always something, making it easier, especially talking about home security, with cameras. And I don't want to talk about special brands, but it's a bunch of brands out there that are making it very easy that you just buy a kit and you put it together yourself. Social networking, we're using it right now, okay, to be connected. People searching for roots and stability. That's something that's getting very developed. I don't know if you guys know, but they've been using DNA. I mean, you can send sample your DNA. They actually give you a profile, a picture profile of your past. Okay, extreme experiences, skydiving, bungee jumping, so many things. Okay, and now COVID-19 is opening a whole different sector on entrepreneurship. There's a lot of people taking advantage of the pandemic. So value proposition. A value proposition is a promise by a company to a customer or market segment. So a couple slides back, I was talking about opportunity equals problem plus solution. So this is what your value proposition is all about. You're telling the market being the clients, okay? You're telling the market, I have a solution for your problem. Okay, or I have something that's going to make life for you easier. All right. So your value proposition is what's going to sell your product. So always be very thoughtful and work long hours in developing your value proposition. Most of the time, entrepreneurs, they use it as your product is going to fix your own problem. But also use friends, use family members, use clients out there. They can actually verify that this value proposition is what really is needed in the society. Also, it is an easy to understand reason why customers should purchase a product or service from that specific business. So in the first bullet, it's telling you it's a promise. In the second one, is telling you this be easy to understand the reason why the customer is going to buy this from you. And the last one, a value proposition should be a clear statement that explains how the product solves a pain point. Okay. Examples. Uber. We have a company called Uber. It's a transportation company, and they came to the market, to the industry, not too long ago, and they actually they found an opportunity in the transportation because to make it easier, to make it more convenience to the client. And that's what they did. Before, you used to have trains, buses, taxis, and stuff like that. And then became Uber. And Uber, what really they took advantage of is your cell phone. A cell phone is something that pretty much, a high percentage of the population has a cell phone, especially in the metro areas. And Uber identified that with a application that you can access in your phone, in your cell phone, you can actually pay for the trip and find where you're going. And actually, when you get in the car, you don't have to say nothing. Just close the door and it will take you to your destination, and it's already paid for. So it was all about convenience, even though transportation was already there. It was something established for many years, but Uber actually took it to the next level. So think about value proposition when you're trying to verify your value proposition. Think about Uber, how they did it. Okay. Specifically, a value proposition describes the benefits customers receive from your product. Okay. The features of your product doesn't equal the value proposition, but the solution and benefits of your product equals the value. That's what we're talking about. All right. And a good example right here. If you purchase a toy and the features battery included, that's good, right? But that's not the benefit. The benefit is that it's ready out of the box with no disappointed kids. There's nothing worse than Christmas morning and you got something for your kid and it needs batteries and you forgot to buy the batteries. The batteries are not included, and now you're gonna go trying to find batteries in the morning, in the early hours in the morning. So just a good example that the feature of the product is not the value proposition, but the benefit of it. Look at the mobile phone. It has a feature integrated email app. Okay, that's when the iPhone, for example, in 2007 came out. And everybody said, okay, email's already invented, okay, but that's not what was the value proposition. The value proposition that you can check mail wherever you're allowing you to keep in touch with your customers. Wherever you have signal, you had the email, all right? Lawyers, you have a lawyer. The feature of the lawyer is an expert in business law. Okay, but what is trying to the solution? It advise you need to run your business legally. So that's just to give an example, features versus benefits. A value proposition is all about the benefits. So make sure you, when you're building that value proposition, is you taking care of something that the customer needs, right? Here's an example that is very clear that it was an opportunity. I don't know if you guys heard about the coolest cooler. It's actually it's a real product. All right, the one on the top, right? The coolest cooler, it was a product that a few guys from college put together. All right, if you see on the left, that was the normal average cooler, and the one on the right is the super cooler, I would say. Well, they call it the coolest cooler, right? So it has tires, it has a battery to charge your phone, it has speakers, Bluetooth speakers. I mean, it has a blender. I mean, it has everything that you need to go to the beach with, okay? So, I mean, they build it, they put it together, and how they did it, they used one of those crowdfunding websites, okay? And believe it or not, they actually got $13 million from different customers. $13 million to build this cooler. And everything went south. Why? I'm gonna tell you why. Because when they designed the cooler, they missed something very important. And it was the battery. This cooler has a blender, has Bluetooth speakers. It charges a phone, okay? So it needs a pretty healthy battery. The battery that they designed it with was a 12-volt battery that didn't go anywhere. As soon as you put the speakers to get some music in there and a little bit of time, and they were done. So they needed a bigger, more expensive battery. And when they made that change, they couldn't afford the many orders that they had for the coolest cooler. So everything went south. I mean, they couldn't guarantee the money back for all the customers, and it was pretty bad. And at the end, they had to redesign the coolest cooler with a bigger battery, and they actually went into the market, and it was there for a few years. But then in 2004, I think it was, that's when it went away. But just to let you know that when you find that opportunity and you had the solution for the problem, it's a thoughtful process. It's a lot of moving pieces to make things happen. In this case, with the coolest cooler, there's no doubt they found an opportunity, and the product was excellent. A lot of people wanted it, but the design and trying to get from the idea to the concept to the structure, and to the open your doors as a business, it went pretty wrong. It wasn't done the right way. So just to let you know, just an example. Okay, an idea or a business concept, specific value, creative method for capitalizing on the opportunity. That's where your idea needs to go. It's something that you found that's gonna take care of a solution, that's gonna take care of the problem. Okay, it's gonna create that opportunity. It could be a new product, a new service, a new process. Okay, another example is Facebook. When Facebook came up back in the early 2000s, there was something around. It was pretty much just like Facebook. Okay, I think they used to call it MySpace, and Facebook went against it. And MySpace was a pretty big issue in those days. I think I forgot Microsoft owns it. I don't know if I forgot who owned it. Still around, but not like Facebook. Another is Google. When Google started doing their thing, there was something called Yahoo, and Yahoo was pretty well established too. But it was, I remember that was my time, and I remember Yahoo was it started very good, but Yahoo then it was very cluttered, the website, and they were offering so many things. And the simplicity of Google just took over, just a blank page with the bar and Google on top. It was what people wanted, okay? And also, this could be the unique combination that defines how much value customers are getting, including the price, distribution, and packaging. So it's very important that you put all those things together. Okay, a good example nowadays, believe it or not, is Apple. Apple is a computer company. They used to be. Now they sell phones. They sell a bunch of different products. Okay, the distribution machine is impressive. Okay, most of their products are made in China. Their packaging are well designed, just like the products are. And even though they get a hefty price, people buys it because of quality. All right. So different things, there's some people like more PCs, people like more Android. Of course, it's all about taste here. But just to give you an idea, what the unique combination can make actually a product very successful. Here's a key criteria about the value proposition, okay? Clear benefit and a value proposition. So if you had the value proposition verified, and you know that the solution of the problem that you're gonna provide your customers, then you can move on. But in the very beginning, in the very early stages of you developing that idea, you cannot provide that clear benefit. Then you need to come back and go back and actually redo your entrepreneurial process, right? Profit potentials, of course. We're making this, yeah, we're gonna alleviate a pain. We're gonna create some kind of a solution for a problem, but we need to make a profit. Okay, we're making this to make a living. Okay, are the customers willing to pay? Reason to believe. That's talking about the market. The market needs to believe that your product is what they're looking for. New and different enough from alternative. Okay, and that's the what I was talking about, the Googles, the Facebooks, the Ubers. Okay, even though there were other companies already implemented in what they were doing, but they were different. They were just different, and people were ready for a change. Okay, could potentially lead to other products and services. So it's another webinar that we're going to be talking about later in the year that is going to talk about revenue drivers. A revenue driver is a product that drives profit. Okay, revenue. I'm sorry. So how many revenue drivers do you need in your company? How many revenue drivers do you need in your organization? Okay, so what started with one product might end up with 10. What started with one product might end up the product and the accessories. So just always be open to changes on that. Okay. Okay, the final piece of advice: make meaning for yourself. And why meaning is so important. Let me explain to you about meaning. Myself, I joined the Army and I really like to train. So I was a 19 Delta, I was a scout. And for many years, I was just a doer. Okay, and Sergeant told me what to do and let's go. And I was like that for many years. Then I got an opportunity to become what they call a Bradley Master Gunner. And that's all about training soldiers and how to qualify to shoot, to understanding, to learn this machine called the Bradley fighting vehicle. And when I took that opportunity, it actually changed everything the way I used to do it. I used to be a doer and let's do this and let's do that. And now I was a trainer. And training actually is what makes meaning for me. I like to train people. I like to train groups. I just love it. So for me, that's meaning. So when I started, there were so many obstacles trying to get my business going. there were so many negative people around me saying you're not gonna make it, and you should stay in the army until 30 years, whatever, you know. But no, the meaning was really kept me going. So it motivated me to continue, even though there were so bad times and times that I thought, no, man, this is silly. I better do something else. But no, it's actually the love of what I was doing is what really did it. Okay. So next, I'm gonna have a little video here from Guy Kawasaki, and he's gonna talk to you about make meaning for yourself. Guy Kawasaki, for you know, you guys have never heard about him. He's been a chief evangelist for different companies. And I always ask myself, you know, what is a chief evangelist? And all he does is talk good about products. He advertised products. He started with a Macintosh division in Apple. Then he went to Google. Then he went to Motorola. So he's been all over the place and big companies, okay? And all he talks about, it's about positive ways about this company's products. So just let's listen to this video and listen what Guy has to say.
The first thing I figured out and learned, sometimes the hard way, about entrepreneurship is that the core, the essence of entrepreneurship is about making meaning. Many people start companies to make money, the quick flip, the dot-com phenomena. And I have noticed in both the companies that I've started and funded and been associated with, that those companies that are fundamentally founded to change the world, to make the world a better place, to make meaning, are the companies that make a difference. They are the companies to succeed. My naive and romantic belief is that if you make meaning, you will probably make money. But if you set out to make money, you will probably not make meaning and you won't make money. So my first thought is you need to make meaning. That should be the core of why you start a company. There are 3 ways to make meaning. First is to increase the quality of life. My background is a Macintosh division of Apple Computer, and I can tell you with total certainty that we were not motivated by making money. We were motivated by changing the world to make people more creative and more productive. We were trying to increase the quality of life for the Macintosh user. And that was a great motivation. It kept us going through many difficult periods. We were waking up in the morning thinking how we could change people's lives. A second way to make meaning is to right a wrong. You know, this fish is going to die after jumping out. But to right a wrong means that you find something that's wrong in the world, or you notice something that's wrong, or you want to fix that. This might be particularly applicable to not-for-profits where, you know, there's pollution or there's crime or there's abuse, and their very core is to end that wrong. And the third way to make meaning is to prevent the end of something good. That you see something beautiful, something wonderful, and you just can't stand the fact that it's been eroded, it's being changed, it's being ruined. So I ask you, as you start your companies, your not-for-profits, your churches, your schools, whatever you're starting, please have one of those 3 motivations, one or more of those motivations. If you don't have any of those motivations, I suggest that you rethink what you're doing. I think these 3 things are the key to starting a great organization.
Okay, so very clear. What Guy was saying here is that I like the way he finished. If you don't have one of those 3 ways to make meaning, you need to go back. You need to go back and think about it. And that's what I was talking about in the beginning, that you might have to change your idea. Okay. Meaning is so important to continue on through the years. Okay. There's so many organizations that are seen that they've been around for many years, otherwise since I was a kid. And my question has always been how these business owners, get up every morning and go through whatever they have to go through to get this business going years after years and generations after generations. Okay. And the main answer is meaning. And also, I don't know if you guys seen companies and organizations that started with let's say grandpa, and grandpa is the one actually had the meaning for it, and then he projected that to his son, you know, and then his son projected to his another, you know, another person or whatever. But the main thing is I've seen companies that it gets to the point that when they put a person in charge that don't have meaning, like grandpa used to have it, and you can see changes start going in the business. I mean, it might take years to get real bad, but they need the, you know, you can see the changes. Why? Because the meaning is missing. So like he said right there at the very end, if there's no meaning, take a look and see what you can do with that idea to make meaning. All right. So how do you make meaning? You know, is to look to solve a problem to alleviate pain. That should give you a motivation. It will give you feel good with yourself. Okay, it can be a big problem for a small undeserved segment. Okay, that's another thing that I've seen. So sometimes people looking for ideas, right? Looking for that opportunity, that solution that's going to take care of a problem. And is it that sometimes they look at a huge picture, and there's so many things in society going on right now, you know. And I will say, you know, it's just take a segment of what's going on in the world and analyze it and start looking for opportunities. Okay, don't try to look at the big picture and you can see so many problems and then you start picking around, and it might be a long process. But take segments, and segments could be talking about geographical. It could be talking about age groups. It could be like veterans. It could be, I mean, it's many different segments that you can identify and actually focus in trying to get this meaning. And the last one, you know, do something you feel strongly about. All right. Myself, like I said, the training for me, the teaching, it was very important. And I tell you, in my process to put everything together, I mean, I even thought to become a teacher, you know, as a professional teacher, you know. And to be honest, I didn't like the pay. Okay, and I said, well, you know, then I didn't want to go to college at that time, and I just joined the Army as a private. And in the Army, you know, I did the college thing in the Army, trying to get some credits and put everything together. You know, finally, when I retired, I got everything together, and I had an Army, a career after the Army. But like I said, it's just it was a long process, but I was always feeling so strong about teaching. And I just kept going for it and kept going for it all the time. Okay. All right. So this is it for today. I mean, I really think that we need to when we talk about the right idea, it's a process. Okay. And it's something that we need to understand that it takes time. It's something that sometimes we don't have to do it alone. Okay. Because I'm not talking about, this is the very beginning stages of business ownership. And some people say, Juan, but I'm talking about, I need money. Juan, I need an office space. I need a warehouse space. And I tell them, whoa, stop. And I get very personal sometimes with my clients, and I tell them, let's go back from the very beginning. I mean, when do you start thinking about this? And they said, well, when I was in the Army, you know, and I was doing this and doing that, I was getting tired of sergeant telling me what to do. And let's start from there. Let's start from there and start developing that idea. And that's what I'm asking to you, all you guys right now. And it is to put together your idea and start researching, start doing analysis of what's going on in the society that your idea is going to take care of. Okay. But don't start thinking about the big picture, like, I need to go to the bank. I need rental place. I need inventory. No, this is for later. Now we need to take care of the opportunity that you're going to have to take care of that problem that the market has. So make sure you put that all together, okay? And you understand that the original idea is what's going to open the doors of your business later on after the whole process is complete. But the original idea needs to be the right one. So if there's any questions, please feel free.
Where's my sheet?
Okay, so as we wait for questions, let me just say that the VISBDC has so much more in store for USVI small businesses. Visit our website at www.visbdc.org. Download the VISBDC app on your mobile device and check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Google My Business, and subscribe to the VISBDC YouTube channel for on-demand webinars like the one we held today. Just a few. Okay, here we have a question. Juan, how long does this process take?
Okay, yeah, it depends a lot on the industry that you're gonna choose. Okay, industry, I mean the type of product that you're gonna sell. For example, if you into the restaurant business, you in the food industry. So it depends on competition, depends on locations. So what I always recommend when somebody say, Juan, how long is this gonna take? Okay, it's up to you for you as a veteran to choose the right mentor. Yeah, you need somebody that will coach you, somebody that will help you through the whole process. We have different organizations like the SBDC in Virgin Islands. Probably the best shot you got right now, you are the Virgin Islands. You have VBOC like me in Puerto Rico and Virgin Islands, and we all can help you to start that process. And I try to be honestly, when I get a client, I know how motivated and how enthusiastic they are at the moment, and I try to take advantage of that. Motivation is a key thing in the business process. For you to be motivated and have meaning, like we were talking about, I try to take advantage of that. So I'm trying to help as fast as you can to make your dream come true. But of course, doing everything calculated and thinking about it, make sure its success is at the end of your process. So it could take 3 months, it could take 6 months, it could take a year. It depends how everything in the process goes. Remember, I talked to you about having showstoppers, having obstacles. So the question is, how are we going to attack those obstacles? How do we attack those showstoppers to continue on? So honestly, it's not a timeline on how long is the process. The thing is to be motivated, have meaning for what you do, and hopefully we get through as soon as possible. I hope that answered the question. Anybody else?
Do you have a suggestion for any books to read?
Ooh. Honestly, books is I'll be very honest with you. No. There's so many books out there to help for you to create that foundation and to find tools to develop this idea and actually the process of entrepreneurship. Every time I get a call from a veteran, the only thing that I suggest to do first and right away is to take the Boost to Business course. All right, the Boost to Business course is tailored for veterans. It's tailored for soldiers and Marines and all the military personnel that are transitioning to civilian life, and veterans already out of the system. Is tailored for them to create that foundation. So to be honest, I never went back to go to a book, because when I first took the Boost to Business, that's what you give me the tools necessary for me to develop the tools to develop my idea, to make it a concept, to structure it, and actually to have a business. So that's my answer there. Any more questions?
I don't see any more at the moment, but I do want to mention our upcoming webinars. So today at 11:30 a.m., we have employer guidance in our COVID-19 world. On the 29th, we have SBA with Webinar Tuesday, and they're doing a presentation on SAM.gov, which is the System Award Management. On April 5th at 11 a.m., we have the USVI Business Resiliency Series. And we're going to focus on small business strategic planning. On April 6th at 6 p.m., we have SCORE with Discover Effective Selling. On the 12th, we have SCORE back again at 6 p.m. And they're doing a presentation entitled Use a 6-Month Budget to Guide Your Business Recovery. And then on the 12th, we have SBA back with Webinar Tuesday, and they're focusing on the 5 C's of SBA loan eligibility. So I see comments exclaiming, thank you. It was great information. Compliments of our state director, Mr. Ted Gutierrez. So Juan, thank you so much on behalf of the VISBDC. Thanks everyone for attending, and that's it for today.
Thank you. Bye-bye.